Having listened to and been highly impressed with your feedback, I've put together an 11-week CompuTrainer and Erg video autumn season using the cool and spacious village hall at Ardfern as our venue. What seemed most important to you was to try and hold on as best as possible to your summer fitness, or at the very least slow down that inevitable winter decline. Also to keep a cycling routine in anticipation of the new season. Overwhelmingly, you wanted meaningful workouts and sessions that would stretch you. Well, I guess you know that means we're heading into the pain cave. Week 1. Week 1 starts in the time-honoured tradition of the Functional Threshold Power Test. It's a standardised and simple way to determine your threshold power in an Erg video real course format. We'll begin with a programmed warm-up. You'll calibrate the trainer, and then you'll do a 20-minute all-out time trial test to determine your threshold power. All out means all out. You ride with Canadian National Masters Time Trial Silver Specialist Ron Amos, Old Ron, on a time trial course in beautiful Ontario. You'll cycle as hard as you can go for 20 minutes, and believe me, you won't be taking in the scenery. Use the projected data to motivate you and don't let that average power level fall. Your actual FTP for this series is calculated as 95% of your 20-minute all-out power effort. In addition, we'll take a little bit of time to set up your Strava links, Training Peaks if you want to, teach you about CompuTrainer calibration, and supply you with your Garmin cadence sensor and heart rate monitor. So expect this first session to take about an hour and 20 minutes. And here's a taster. Go, 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 go! Week 2. The series starts in earnest during week 2, and it's with our climb up the Col d'Aspin, which is a regular feature of the Tour de France, and we will attack it from the most frequently climbed side on a very beautiful, sunny, typically Argyll day. The boys on the screen are checking out the climb, and they're checking out each other's fitness by pushing a relentless pace. On this session you get not one, but you get 2 climbs, the second being the Roquette d'Anzacan. This climb appeared in Le Tour for the first time in 2011. The pace is a little smoother on the second climb, with less attacking until the summit is in sight, that is, so keep something in reserve. It's going to last about 1 3/4 hours, and the power zones will be 60%, zones 3, zone 4. Here's your glimpse of the video. Week 3. In week 3, we're off to the rural edge of the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, and it's your first visit to meet Hunter Allen's training group. Get used to them, folks. We're going to be back here every alternate week. On this occasion, and to whet your appetite for a hard-worked interval session, we're going for the power microbursts and tempo workout. Microburst intervals are short and intense with very short rest periods in between. In this erg video, Hunter and his team from the Peaks coaching group will lead you in 3 sets of 10-minute intervals, each filled by 30 or 20-second microbursts. This session is very hard, but your immediate reward will be a lovely 30-minute tempo ride on the smooth roads of Virginia in springtime. The session's going to come in at about 1 hour 40 minutes. Power zones are going to be 40% in zone 1 and 15% in zone 6. Here's your preview. Week 4. We're in the Pyrenees foothills. Believe it or not, this was a scheduled recovery ride, which went terribly wrong. After many hard days in the mountains, you'd think an easy day in flatter terrain would have been welcomed by the riders. But no! Stuck in the mountains, the frustrated sprinters among them felt some need for revenge, and what transpired was far from easy. This video has it all, from smooth and steady through and off paceline riding to jams up short climbs and even some town sign sprints. The roads are narrow, remote, and the sunshine blazes down throughout. You probably know this feeling from many club rides. It's a kind of sense of, well, that was kind of harder than we planned. This video comes in at around about 1 hour and 40 minutes. Power zones are roughly 50% zones 3, zone 4, and 15% zone 5 and zone 6. And it looks a little bit like this. Week 5. We are back with Hunter's Mob in Virginia. We're not on the trail of that lonesome pine. We are on the trail of the tempo grind. This erg video presents a new way to enjoy your tempo zone training. And we all know how much you enjoy your tempo zone training, but this time in a long progressive cadence session. Hunter recommends that you ride the first 15 minutes at low cadence, the next 15 at medium, and the final 15 at a high cadence. He and the whole team do it with you. After a short rest, they will lead you in some very intense 1-minute anaerobic intervals, all on the sunny roads of Virginia. It's going to take about 1 hour 26, and power zones are 70% between zones 2 and zone 4. Here we go with your sneak preview. Week 6. As a nod to the Tri Club, as we hit the halfway mark, we are off to the Ironman 70.3 Mont Tremblant course in Quebec. Ride in the colourful forests of West Quebec in rugged Canadian Shield territory. It's autumn and the colours are nearly at their best. Join time trial specialist Ron Amos. Ron is that evil bloke from the threshold test on the first week. But anyway, join Ron on the triathlon course. Out of interest, this is exactly the same course for half iron and full iron distance events. You just double the laps. Ron lays down a steady effort on the rolling highway leg, and then the much harder hilly leg up to Lac Supérieur evokes some more extreme efforts. So pace yourself for the second half of this workout. With the stunning autumn colours as a background, this is probably the most beautiful erg video we've seen so far. It kind of reminded me of the A9 around Dunkeld and Pitlochry, and the whole course will take us about 1 hour 35. Power zones 50% zones 3 and zone 4, but 20% zone 5 and zone 6, and remember they come in the second half. Your course sample starts here. Week 7. We are back in the US of A. Back with Hunter once more, but this time for functional threshold power ramps. This erg video combines an interesting variation on threshold power development using fast pedaling drills. The 6 threshold intervals are 10 minutes long and they ramp up in intensity when you're gonna least like it, but when it's best for you. This is going to come in at 1 hour 40 minutes and you are going to love it. As you might have guessed, the power zones are going to be 60% in zone 4 and 5. And we're off. Week 8. The Paso Abrica and Bormio. The Paso Abrica has appeared several times on the Giro d'Italia, and we approach from the scenic Valtellina side. If you've ever lain awake at night and you've wondered what it would be like to be a super domestique on a pro team, then try this workout and then be thankful that that is not your chosen career. The climb begins with a few accelerations, and then you find yourself in a cooperating chase group. Insult follows injury when you make contact, with blistering attacks hitting thick and fast. It's exciting, it's wild, but it's unrelenting. After a rest on the descent, you'll take a ride up to Bormio, starting relaxed and modestly paced, but then one of the riders feels more, well, energetic. So you latch on and you ride with him from a solo point of view style all the way to the station. This is a great video with two really distinctive experiences in one. From the eyeballs bleeding attack efforts and chases to the smooth, solitary sailing on a deserted mountain roadway. The video comes in at about 1 hour 40, and the power zones will be 70% in zones 3 to zone 5. Here's your very own sneak preview. It's week 9, which means we are once more Virginia bound for an explosive power sweet spot session. Way! Apparently, there's nothing like riding in that power sweet spot that's on the high end of tempo and the low end of threshold power. That's where you can ride and train effectively for a good long time. This erg video depicts a challenging variation on the 2 by 15 minute sweet spot intervals by forcing you to do 3 short, explosive efforts with equally short rest right before you settle into that sweet spot. Hunter has thought of everything, and we follow that up with 3 by 5 minute big gear low cadence intervals, which will help to build your pedaling strength. Expect this to last for about 1 hour 40. Power zones are 65% in zone 3 and zone 4. And your video clip is right here. Week 10. Well, let's face it, you asked for intervals. Well, you've got the king of intervals. These are intervals for anaerobic lactic capacity. Why anaerobic lactic capacity? Well, anaerobic lactic capacity is often what separates the winners from the losers in bike racing. It's that ability to be able to dig deep, to bridge the gaps and create the breakaways over and over and over and over again until you're in that winning move. You know what it's like, you've been in the mid-Argyle bike leg. You can't stay below threshold and expect your competitors to get tired. You have to try and drop them like a bad habit. Well, anaerobic lactic capacity intervals will help you to do this. They are an integral and essential part of any serious cyclist's training plan. Mike and Paul will lead you through sets of 45 seconds, 1 minute, and very difficult 1 minute 15 second efforts. all of which is filmed in Canada's National Capital Region. This video will come in at about 1 hour and a half. Believe me, you'll be grateful that it's about 10 minutes shorter than most. Power zones are going to be 60% in zone 1, okay, that's the recovery mode, which means about 15 to 16% in zone 6. Week 11, our final week. We are going to finish with a mad dash up the Alpe d'Huez as Erg Video visits one of the most famous climbs in all of cycling, and the riders do it in style. This video is shot in stunning and super stable 1080 HD format. The riders look extra sharp in their Peaks coaching group kit as they attack the climb that every pro cyclist wants to win. The Alpe is not the highest or the hardest climb in the French Alps, but it's always a tour stage finish, so it's always ridden aggressively to create winning margins that will help affect the overall tour result. It ensures that each ascent is painful to the combatants and legendary to its fans. Staying true to our whole autumn theme, the team rides hard on this one with plenty of attacking and breakaway chases, and it's going to last for about 1 hour 35. Power zones will be about 55% in 3 and 4 and 15% in zone 6. Here's the short version. So that concludes the autumn series, leaving you, I hope, in anticipation for the much loved winter programme. As always, it's been a pleasure. If you have any questions, drop me a line to daretotrylife@gmail.com. Take care.